and welcome to this week's Karma Cards. I am your host, Therese Tucker, and I'm so happy to have you here with me this week. And what a week! What a week it is. We got a lot to talk about, energetically speaking. We're about to go into a new moon in Scorpio season, with a Pluto opposition to Mars. Now, Pluto and Mars used to be the ancient ruler of Scorpio. Pluto is the current ruler of Scorpio. So we got a whole bunch of Scorpio energy going on. I don't know if it affects people who are Scorpio. Are you feeling it? Like, do you feel jazzed up? I'm not sure, but it is intense. Scorpio is like one of the most intense signs in our zodiac, and it's that deep dive, right? It is the deep dive, and Scorpio wants to get down to the truth. Scorpio is considered one of the most psychic signs because, again, it can get underneath, it can get to what's hidden and get right in there. And so we've got a lot of that energy going on right now. So again, with the Pluto opposing Mars energy, these are two already contentious planets, right? Mars, god of war, Pluto, god of the underworld, coming together, opposing each other energetically. So there's creating a tension point. Mars wants to take action. Pluto wants to get down to the truth. It wants to either reveal what will empower you or purge what doesn't empower you. And so when these two come together, there is sort of an explosion of energy. It's an explosive energy, and oftentimes something sort of agitating can happen. I've heard that this combination can denote some kind of theft, which is really interesting because we actually experienced a theft in my personal life. My husband's car got broken into and his work computer was stolen out of it, which it sucks. And it was in our neighborhood where that's not typical. It's not typical to have that happen at a Whole Foods parking lot of all places. I mean, it's like the least expected place it could happen, and there it is. There's where it happened. So again, there's sort of this really contentious energy with those two, and then you match that with the time period we're experiencing, especially here in the United States. We're at a very contentious point in time where we've got our big election coming up. It's very divisive. Sides have been drawn, right? And it's really an intense one, and the rhetoric around it is extreme. It's just to the extreme levels right now. So Scorpio season, where all this is happening, it's really interesting. And then of course it's the 5th of November. November 5th is interesting because that's connected to the movie V for Vendetta, and that's remember the 5th of November, right? So there's this point in time feels very pivotal. It feels like another one of those major split points where there's higher timelines, there's lower timelines. Everybody wants to be on the higher timeline, and everyone's assuming that their choices will lead them to that. And and we're yet to see what that looks like. But I want to get into it because that's connected to the message I have from the team. But first, on Friday, we've got the new moon in Scorpio. So this is about getting down to a personal truth for yourself. This is about tapping back into your own power and recognizing the resources that you have, even the ones that you don't think you have, because Scorpio is also about these shared resources. So those of the resources you're connected to, whether it's through your relationship, your family, your community, there are resources around you to tap into as well. And that's something that we highlight during this period of time. So it's going to be a powerful new moon. And I've got 2 events happening that day that I'd love for you to participate in if you feel called to. One is we're doing the water vessel ritual, which is a manifestation ritual using the osmosis of water, the power of water, to help us call in that which we wish to manifest. And I'm doing that on the Insight Timer app. It's a live free event happening on November 1st at 12:30 Pacific time. And that means that people in other countries can also join. Usually I have a wide swath of people from all over the world that join us to do that. So if you'd like to do that, there's the link in the description below. It's free to join. You join through the app. It's really great. You get to hang out with an awesome community of people and call in that which you desire to manifest. And if you want to take it deeper, if you want to go to a deeper level and really understand what the messages of the cosmos have to bring, hear what our galactic family have to say, and work on those goals together in a group, you can come to the New Moon Spirit Circle happening that evening, November 1st at 6 p.m. Pacific time. The link will be in the description below. That one takes you even deeper. We also do the water vessel ritual there, but we have all those added layers. And of course, there is psychic Q&A at the end where you can ask me a question and I can tap into my team and your team and get that answer for you. So if that feels like something that's resonating for you, the link is in the description below. And I'd love to see you there. All right, so now getting back to the message from the team, and they're really calling for us to see the bigger picture at this time. It's really going to help you because things get myopic, especially, and this message is for everyone, of course. More specifically, we're in that zone where the United States is about to go into its election cycle. We're in the election cycle, rather. We're about to have our election day on November 5th. And this message falls in that window. And so we're really being called here to understand that there are multiple levels at work. And the level at which you're focusing on is really going to affect you on an emotional level. And if your goal right now, no matter what's happening, is to be a light bearer, right? To hold the light, to hold a frequency, then you're being asked to move your perception up to a higher level. Not only are you going to call in the highest timeline, but you're going to view the events from a higher perspective. So we are both a co-creator with Source. We are like co-authoring a story together. And we do this on a personal level with our personal lives. And of course, we do it on a collective level as well. And then we're also the hero of that story. So I always like to say it's like we're both Harry Potter and J.K. Rowling. We're doing both at the same time. We really have to get to the level of the author or that co-creator. That's going to help you so much moving through turbulent periods of time. If you're focusing on or tuning in to the hero journey right now, this is where the turbulence and the chaos is, right? So imagine that what's happening in the world is a movie. And this movie's really unique because you're both an actor in it and the audience it's for, which is really bizarre. If you think about it, I mean, can you imagine if we had movies that were like that? I mean, I guess the closest thing we have is obviously video games, which my team always refers to that because it makes the most sense. You're observing it and you're playing it simultaneously. We're doing it here too. At this level, the stakes obviously feel higher, right? In a video game, we have that awareness that this is a simulation. It's not my reality. It's a simulated reality I'm agreeing to play. And we've forgotten that we're doing that here too. In this life, we are in a simulated reality that we are agreeing to play. And we have forgotten about that higher, larger aspect of ourself that's out there, up there, in there, deep in, within, who knows they're okay, who knows that it's safe, who is willingly playing this game. And if we're too connected to our avatar, to the hero, to the one we're playing, then everything affects us at this level. We take it in as if this is like the worst or the best, the scariest or the most joyful, right? We're most affected here, where we really are sort of like at the whim of our thoughts and feelings here. Whereas when we are in that observer self or the player, the author, whatever you want to look at it is, the one who's co-creating it, who is absolutely safe, absolutely protected, divine, connected, immortal, nothing bad's going to happen to us at that level, then this level becomes so much more easier to understand. And it's easier for us to remember, oh, right, I'm here to hold the light, to be the light, to shine my light. That gets so much easier to remember when we are connected more to our observer, to our co-creator self. And during this period of time, it is very tempting and very easy to get sucked in by the whim. I have a lot of people reaching out to me right now who genuinely feel in fear of what happens next. And it doesn't even matter which side they're coming from. If you're coming from the left, you're in fear about what the right will do. If you're in the right, you're also, in having negative anticipation of what will the left do. It's a very triggering place. And you have to remember, we're being asked to remember by our teams, by our higher selves, by our galactic family, that energy, that emotional energy is what's getting pulled on purpose. On purpose. There's nothing more that a negative agenda would love than to get you all whipped up into your emotions, especially your heavier, more negative emotions, because that will help create the negative outcomes that some seek. Not all of us. Those of us who are in the light obviously don't seek that. So how do we step back into our power? We move back into the higher perspective. We take the bird's eye view. We step back and remember, I'm co-creating, I'm co-writing this. And when we go to that place, what happens is the drama and the intensity that's at this lower level starts to feel so much smaller. And you realize this is just a distraction meant to pull me into a drama and keep me sort of, it's like being distracted by Facebook or television when you're supposed to be doing your work, right? Those who work from home, you guys know what I'm talking about. Even if you don't work from home, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. The temptation to distract ourselves from our real job is so strong, and it's compelling, and it's interesting. Whether you like what's happening or you don't like what's happening right now, you can't deny that it is quite compelling. Even if you're not in the United States, I know people outside of the United States who are very compelled to watch what's going on here because it feels so intense. And the astrological placements are like, we're helping it feel intense, right? So we're being pulled to feel this intensity. Our teams are saying, you have a choice. You can get sucked into your favorite movie right now, your big TV show, your video game of choice. Or you can remember, I have a job to do. Even though this incredible movie is playing, I still have a job to do. It doesn't mean you don't watch the movie. You have to distance yourself and remind yourself this is just a movie. This doesn't actually affect the work I'm doing. All I'm doing is procrastinating from the work I'm here to do. And the work I'm here to do is shine my light, to hold a higher frequency, to call in that higher timeline, to choose compassion and love when I'm being so egged on to dislike or hate, right? In the face of someone telling me that if I vote this way, I'm this type of person, or if I vote that way, I'm that type of person, right? Who wants to create more division and really get us off mission. So these kinds of distractions, they're not just distracting, they're actually trying to get us off our goal, because it's really the collective consciousness that will call in what's next, not a politician. It'll be us. And if more of us are remembering that and going, right, I have a job to do. My job is to hold the light. I am not going into fear. I'm going into faith. I'm not going to go into hate. I'm going into love. I'm not going to go into judgment. I'm going to go into compassion. Yes, it's a challenge, but that's how you know if you're doing it or not, right? Like if it was easy to do, would we know we were doing it? But if you're challenged to not want to do it and you do it anyway, you know you've done it, right? That's why we get challenges. So many people we get angsty about our challenges. I do too. But then I'm reminded, how would I know if I'm doing it? If everything was going easy and flowing the way I wanted it to, if everything was, sunshine and roses, how would I know I'm making the choice that I intend to make? But when I am put up against something that feels ugly or difficult or challenging or is really like pushing my buttons, and I still choose peace and love, I know in that moment I chose the peace. I chose the love. I know when fear is present and I choose faith and I believe in the good and the peace that is available. I know I've done it. So again, I know I sound like a broken record lately, but my team's just hitting me hard with this. It's like, you got to love these challenges. You got to see how this is serving you. So many people see it and they go, this isn't going to serve us. What if the very thing that's challenging you is the service? I think it is. I feel like that's the key. I know I'm like getting so excited. I'm like, oh, the whole key is not what happens, but how you're dealing with it as it's happening. Where are you going to be? What state will you be in? Will you be thrown around by your tail, like a tiger by the tail? Or are you going to be calm, centered, collected, and connected? Because you've got it. Because you know that's what you're here to do. You're here to hold this space, right? That rocky, challenging space. You're actually here to hold it. And the challenge being present is a service to you, because you will know you are doing it if you can do it in the face of a challenge. And with that, let's look at this week's karma cards. Okay, if you're new to karma cards, let me quickly show you how these work. I have 3 decks here: planets, signs of the zodiac, and the houses of astrology. And I've already asked my team, what is the message you have for us this week? And I've got 2 sets of answers, a set in red, which are action related, and a set in blue, which are outcome related. And the way that you play is you tune in with that beautiful intuition of yours and feel, what is the guidance you're looking for this week? Are you looking for the actions to take, or do you want to see how things resolve? And of course, you can always choose both. And while you're choosing, let me tell you the timing for this reading. This reading is for October 30th through November 6th. And the flavor of this reading, we've got the North Node. Interesting. The North Node is about where we desire to go. Now, our current North Node is in the sign of Aries, which is about healthy independence. It's about standing on your own 2 feet and doing it for yourself, and also breaking through and being a pioneer, like not being afraid to sort of break the mold. That's where we desire to go right now. And then we've got Scorpio. And I told you, this is like, we're in Scorpio soup right now. There's so much Scorpio energy. So it's really interesting that Scorpio is activated. Again, this is about getting down to the heart of the matter, the truth, like looking right into the eyes of Medusa, right? Without the fear of being turned to stone. I want to know the truth. In the 12th house of the subconscious mind, this is interesting because the 12th house does represent something coming to an end or karmically resolving. It represents what is hidden from us. So your subconscious mind holds way more information than your conscious mind can process. So this talks about that kind of hidden information. It also talks about the collective consciousness, overwhelming events, large institutions, right? These big, anything that's holding a collective style energy is connected to the 12th house. All right. For those who are choosing action, your spiritual action at this time is to have faith in the extraordinary power of prayer, seeking oneness with all there is. I feel like I don't even need to tap in to get this. I mean, it's right there. Faith, I'm like, faith in the face of fear. The extraordinary power of prayer. Connect, right? Remember, we are co-creating this. We are not singularly creating. We're creating with source. We're creating with God, with the universe, with the infinite intelligence, whatever you'd like to call it. This is our co-creator. It's a pretty big partner to have. Seek oneness with all there is. Well, we're not doing that at that lower level, right? That's where division is hanging out. They asked us to step it up, go higher. Well, when you go higher, when you connect to higher levels of consciousness, you get closer and closer to the one true source of consciousness. So again, it's asking us to connect with our partner here. Have faith in that process. Do not let your eyes deceive you that anything dark is truly taking hold. Both sides are telling you the dark will take hold. Both are wrong. Something bigger and stronger is working through us, and we know the light has already won. So can we have faith in that statement? and allow that to move through us rather than fear. Mental action at this time. Do not worry about the highest and lowest aspects of philanthropy. Interesting. So what I'm getting, so philanthropy is obviously charitable acts for someone else without an expectation of return. A lot of people right in this moment are getting really hung up on, I got to go save you. You're on the wrong side, right? I've got to go save you. And again, this is mostly leaning towards the American election energy, but you're on the wrong side. I've got to go save you. Thinking that they're doing something for them when really what they're doing is they're coming from a place of fear. They're worried that if this other person votes against them, their side will lose, right? So it's not as charitable as it seems, number one. Number two, you got to understand something deep here. Again, you've got to move up and out of this divisive paradigm and right and wrong and good and bad here that's being really played. And you've got to step up and above it. Two things. You cannot change someone's mind if they've already made it up. Only the person can change their own mind. I cannot change your mind, right? So if you're hearing this and you're like, this is BS, I don't believe you, that's your right. I cannot change your mind. You must agree within yourself. So I have to say something that resonates with you in a way where you're like, let me consider that. But again, it is always going to be your choice. No one can change your mind for you. You cannot change the mind of another. So to try and do that is to be wasting your time and actually playing from the lowest part of this philanthropy, where it's like, I need to control what you're doing so I feel safe. That's where it's coming from. That's a lower aspect of it here. Let that go. Number two, what if, just a crazy thought, we just trust the other souls around us, right? Where there's so much talk about low information people or dumb people, or they don't know what they're doing, or blinded or brainwashed, or whatever you want to say. There's so much talk about that, so much judgment on the person, right? What if on a soul level, they're just as powerful as you are? And of course they are. Of course they are. So what if they're following a directive from a soul level? We don't know. They might not meet, but they might be. And I think that the better thing to do here is to err on the side of their soul knows best. It's the ultimate form of respect, because it is the treat others how you'd like to be treated. I would like to be treated on a soul level as wise and understanding, and that I have a path and a purpose, and everything that's going on, every choice I'm making is connected somehow to my growth and understanding on a spiritual level. And I'm going to default give that thought process to everyone I encounter, even if I really don't agree with them, even if they're just like, whoa, I feel like you're so off base. What if it's all part of their soul's plan? I feel like that's the best way to go. It keeps you in a place of oneness. It doesn't take you out. The judgment takes you out. It lowers you down. So we're being asked to stop working from that place of lower charity. Like, I just need to change your mind so I feel safer. You don't need to do that. You're going to be safe no matter what. Safety is more an inside job than an outside job. Yes, there's physical things in our environment. Yes. But the idea and the concept of safety and security is an inside job. Physical action at this time. Now is the time to control the situation and keep your involvement hidden. The last words I spoke before reading this line was, this is an inside job, and that those words keep resonating. So the control we're talking about here is the self-control, not the control of the environment. You still can't do it. No matter what the cards say, we can't go out and control things. We've only got control of ourselves. And again, I liken this to a camera and how a camera focuses. Camera can focus on the subject. So it can focus on this camera right here, can focus on me, or it can focus on the background. Let's see if I can make it go out of focus. It's not going out of focus. It's too good. It's trained to focus on me, but it can focus on the subject or the background, and your mind is the same. You can either focus on yourself, the subject, or the world around you, the background. But if you're focusing on them, what you actually can't control, then you've lost control of yourself. So the self-control is what we're talking about here. You don't have to go and announce to everyone that I am stepping out of the lower paradigm. I'm not going to play a part in this movie right now. I'm going to go into observer mode and watch it. None of that's necessary. None of that's going to shift anybody. Again, can't change another person's mind, no matter how much clarity or that beautiful awareness that's on. You're like, yes, this is so much easier. Try getting someone else to shift. Then you just went back to trying to change trying to rearrange the deck chairs on the Titanic. It's pointless. The one thing you can do is focus on the self. Focus on where you're observing this from. Focus on how you're looking at the situation. Are you focusing on your job? Are you focusing on the distraction? If you're focusing on your job, then you will be focusing on how can I keep my nervous system calm? How can I focus my thoughts in a way that help uplift me rather than scare me? Where am I trying to control others? Where am I trying to control a situation? Am I okay? Am I okay with my choices? Am I having my own back, or am I trying to focus on others because I'm not so sure of my choices? Like, really, when we're focused here, all that noise in the background dies down. It gets much easier to know the way forward. And so that's what we're being asked to focus on yet again. All right, so now let's look at outcomes for the North Node in Scorpio in the 12th house of what is hidden. All right, spiritual outcome at this time. There will be purification to resurrect your faith. Trust me here when they said faith over fear, right? It's worth it. It is worth it to step back and lean into your faith. Lean into a bigger power, right? Be part of the movie creation team rather than the actor in it. Go back to source, like come back up, go up in energy. If you build it, they will come. I don't know what other line to use, but if you choose faith, you'll feel it. I guess that's it. Mental outcome at this time, success from the secrets of hidden tendencies. Yeah, I feel like the success they're talking about is when you get that self-control, because that will shift everything. If you're in fear, if you're fearing others, it might be because I feel like I have no control over this. If you get awareness and awakening to that thought, then you can start questioning it. Why do I need to control it? Do I believe in something bigger? Do I see the bigger picture? Do I believe in a bigger purpose? You can start going down that road and get that sense of inner security that we're talking about, right? Safety and security is predominantly an inside job. And part of what's happening in this time period is our root chakras are being rocked. Here's that problem. I've talked about it before. If your root chakra is being rocked, you can't light up the rest of your chakras. So our root chakra cannot be shut off. When it shuts off, we leave the planet physically. So it'll always be on, but it can't be rocked. You can be rocked out of your sense of safety and security. If that's what's happening, you can barely light up your lower three chakras. You're going to be, it's like flickering lights. We need a steady, strong light to come through. Well, that again is an inside job. So if your sense of safety and security is tied to world events, then you're going to lose that grounding that you're looking for. If it's connected to something deep within you, whether it's faith, whether it's trust, whether it's love, whatever it is, if you're connecting it to that, it's hard to shake you. Yeah, you can get shaken, but you can get back in, right? You can stabilize quickly. When your safety and security is outside of you, when it's connected to something else in the world, somebody doing something the way you want them to do it, or the path forward looking the way you want it to look, if it's connected to that, then you can be easily shaken. And listen, it would serve a dark agenda to keep you out of your power. If you're too busy just trying to feel safe, then you're not somebody who is activating their light. Because in order to activate your light, you have to stabilize those lower 3 chakras and move the energy up into the heart and then even higher and higher. So if you're having a hard time holding that, then it's so easy to manipulate you. When you're not, when you are holding it, you're not manipulatable. So the secrets of hidden tendencies they're talking about here is really how it's again that self-control, and the self-control leads to self-discovery, which leads to empowerment. Physical outcome at this time: benefit resulting from the power of large institutions or overwhelming events. We're going to be okay. It's going to be okay. There is powerful, positive energy at work. And no matter how it displays itself to you, no matter what the next phase here looks like, we are actually going to be okay. And I'm saying this to both sides, right? So if it doesn't go your way for whatever reason, don't give up. It's going to be okay. Plot twists abound. I don't know what that looks like. I'm not being given advanced viewing of anything because we're meant to go through this. So my team is definitely not giving me the heads up. I have a feeling, and I have a feeling that I'm constantly trying to check in is, am I manufacturing this feeling, or is this a feeling that you're giving me? And they say it's both, because again, we're co-creators. So you want to be offering your vision to the collective. You should be. It doesn't matter if it matches my vision or anyone else's. You should be offering that because you're helping co-create. And there's an undercurrent for most of us, and that undercurrent is, I want things to go well. I want this to be for the highest good of all beings on the highest timeline. These are the words that I use, and I am deferring to the bigger picture rather than what's happening at the smaller level. On a human level, do I get nervous? Yeah. Is it easy to get triggered? Sure. Am I letting myself do it? Nope, I'm not going to get distracted. I know my job. I know my job here. My job here is to stay connected, is to stand in my power and my light to the best of my ability, and to help empower others to do the same should they choose that. That's what I'm here to do. I'm doing it with you right now. So the beautiful thing here is the light has already won. What it looks like, we don't know. But rather than deciding that it has to look a certain way for us to be okay with that, we want to move into our faith to help that happen and stay in that bigger picture, right? Don't be in the movie so much, be a part of the creation of it. And to that point, I just wanted to let you all know my Epic Year Workshop for 2025 is now open for early bird pricing. So that means I'm offering it to you at $100 off full price. And I cannot wait to do this because we are in such a pivotal time. The Epic Year Workshop is about building a dream or a goal for the year ahead with intentionality, using the vibration that you are currently in. So we have vibrations that change from year to year. Our flow is not always forward, forward, forward. It's more like Jeremy Bearimy, right? From The Good Place. We're Jeremy Bearimy, meaning like sometimes our energy brings us up and asks us to be out there, to push and to drive things. Other time it says, relax, let it come to you. And what I see is people get frustrated by goal building because they're building it without that awareness of where their energy is leading them. And so oftentimes people burn out quite quickly. The other reason they burn out quickly is they don't have a structured plan to get them there. And so they might dream big, but then they stop believing in themselves and their ability to carry it out because they don't have a way. They haven't given themselves the ladder to climb. And so I love doing this workshop because we're using your personal numerology, your personal astrology to help you find where your flow is and help you. So your goal can be whatever you want it to be, but I'm going to show you the most aligned path for you individually to get to that same goal. And then you're going to have my help building out a structure to do it. It's a 2-day workshop. It's happening November 20th and 21st. And the reason I like to do it then is because then you can go into the year with a sense of ease and grace and confidence because you already have a plan. You took the time early to set it. Didn't wait till the end of the year to that rush where suddenly it's January and you feel like you've got to come up with a plan. So it's not about this kind of like sugar high, rush, make a plan, and then have that sugar crash where suddenly it's like, I can't do it. Instead, you have a nice, steady stream of energy and an action plan to get there, and you'll know how to adapt when you need to. So if that sounds exciting to you, if you really want to get into a deeper path of not just goal setting, but creation, right? You want to see how powerful a co-creator you are? Join me for the Epic Year Workshop. There's so many tools and resources. This isn't just a 2-day event. Yes, it's 2 days live, but I have an audio course for you that you get to use that helps you go deeper into your goal setting. And I provide in-person meetups throughout 2025 so that we are connected all year long. I am your cheerleader from November 2024 all the way to the end of 2025. I've got your back. So if you want that level of support and you want to get it at an awesome price, check out the Epic Year Workshop in the link below. The price is already set for you, so you get that $100 off right away. It's such a great investment, and I really hope that I can support you on creating your big dream. And with that, I am sending you so much love. It's going to be okay. Just trust. Lean into your faith. Mwah.